Today I'm going to teach you to paint some trees, and I am looking forward to showing you a little bit of that. But before I do that, I just wanted to share a little bit of an announcement. Some of you already saw it on our Facebook page and on Instagram. We recently got word that we won 2 categories actually for Southern Oregon Magazine's Best of 2019. We won Best Paint and Sip category, and we won Best Small Business for under 50 employees. So huge, huge honor, and we really appreciate all that you guys have done for us, and we wouldn't be here without you. So someone had a question yesterday if our employee of the month for 23 months running, Nathan, is going to get us a special treat for us winning that reward. And so I would love to hear some of your suggestions as to what would be a great reward for him. This is the first time that he's been in the studio when I'm recording this, and so anything that you share with me, I'm going to be sharing with him also. So I'm going to get started in just a second here. I'm going to flip this camera around, and feel free to say hello. I can see your comments today, and we're going to get started. All right. So I am using Americana on wood today, and you can see I've already done a little bit of a background on the weathered wood. I am going to use my flat brush to start, and I'm using the primary colors today. I've got red and blue and yellow. And I've also got black and white on my palette. So I'll give you a little peek at my palette here. There you go. And I'm going to start with a light lavender. And I want to bring in a little bit of a hill in the distance there. And I'm just going to brush that on. I know I said I'm doing trees, but I figured I'd show you some of my background as well. I'm going to go a little bit darker. Now, I'm going to put some trees in the distance here. And the way I'm going to do this is just kind of flicking my brush upward. I've got a flat brush that I'm just going in an upward fashion with. I want an uneven tree line back there. So I'm doing them really close together, but some are taller and some are shorter. Now, if you've seen some of our other announcements this week, you know that we are also celebrating our 5th birthday, if you can believe it. We started 5 years ago, and it was out of my home. At the time I lived out in Rogue River, and it was a wide variety of activities. I was doing craft workshops, and I would occasionally do a painting class. Most of what I did at that time, though, was seamstress work and costume making. So it's been great to talk to some of my longtime customers about those early roots, and it's amazing to see where God has us now. Very thankful to have this going on. And hi Amber, hi Angie. Both my sisters. All right, so I've got that bottom tree line there. I want to put one more darker row, same type of trees. So I'm just going to darken up that purple a little bit. All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do these ones a little bit taller here. So if you're just joining me, the first announcement I gave was about our our award that we just won from Southern Oregon Magazine. And the question had come up if we were going to award our Employee of the Month, Nathan. Nathan has been my sole employee here for, going on 2 years next month. So I think it's a great idea to reward him somehow, but I would love to hear your ideas for what would make a good reward for him. And, all right, there's my trees. I'm gonna fill in the bottom of this here. I don't know if you guys can hear my playlist today. I've got my locals band. There's like Brothers Reed and Fogline and Frankie Hernandez, a bunch of local favorites here that I'm listening to down in the studio. I'm getting ready to go to the Brothers Reed release party tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. And all right, so I've got my dark tree line there. I'm gonna rinse out that brush and switch to my fan brush. Let's see if that, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna wet that one, and I'm gonna do some silhouettes in black here because I've got that pretty sky. So I'm gonna use this to kind of determine where I'm putting those trees. I don't need to be too specific because I'm going to paint over that. So I'll just get the black on my brush. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so I'm going to turn the brush on the edge. I'll turn it this way so you guys can see a little bit better. Now for the top of my tree, I just want to use part of the brush because it's too small to use the full width of it. I'll get the tip of the tree back in there. And I'm going to work my way back and forth. And I'm just using the tips of that brush to get in there. I find that the more I paint trees, the more I pay attention to them when I'm out in nature. Even just driving around. We drove up to Seattle recently, and you know, there's so many trees along the side of the freeway, especially the first half of the drive, but you can't help but notice them. All right, so these lines that I'm putting on here, I'm keeping the brush pretty horizontal. I'm not angling them up or down, but as you start noticing trees out in nature, you'll see that sometimes the the tree branches go upward, and sometimes they go downward, depending on the type of tree that it is. So you can have that kind of variety in your painting. There is really no right or wrong way to do this. So I'll do another one right next to it here. I'll do this one a little bit shorter so we'll kind of frame our center, that hill in the distance. I'll do this one right here. Now, if you've taken one of these classes with me where we've painted trees, you've heard me say before that go ahead and let these trees overlap a little bit, because that's what they do in nature, and that is what they do in nature. They're not, and the only time you find them in perfect little rows is when they're like in a Christmas tree farm. All right, so these ones I'm going to do reaching upward a little bit. Do you see how I've got that there? And I'll do the same thing and sometimes when people do these trees, they end up looking like a fish skeleton at first, and a lot of times what that needs is just more in the middle, kind of filler branches, so that the branches look like they're going around. That's my warning. All right, I'm going to finish this tree. And that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, be sure to ask. I will just comment under the video.